The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another lovely episode of the Periodic Review, where we are trying to be better human beings than we were today, than we were yesterday. I hope you all are having a fantastic week on this beautiful Thursday evening. As you notice, there is not another person talking today. So Mr. Alakai and Miss Rianne are working hard at their schoolwork to get their schoolwork done. So hopefully they can join us again next week, which is really exciting. I have never done an episode by myself. I'll be honest, I am a little nervous. So please be gentle. I do have the chat up here. So if anybody does want to chat in or ask a question, you're more than welcome to. I'll do my best to catch those and to read those live on the air and jump in on the conversation. So here we go. This may be good, this may be bad, but there you have the facts of life, right? There's some boomer knowledge for you. So some things I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about today is to kind of break the ice. For me, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what's coming soon. That looks interesting to me as far as like movies are concerned, stuff on like Netflix. It looks like I have prepared for you. Plus I got a couple of topics that looked a bit interesting. So we're just going to jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk a little bit about is the state of the channel. We just recently decided to go solely on YouTube, and the reason for that is because we were actually getting a lot more views, and it seemed like we were getting a little more traction than with like Facebook. We didn't really get anything on Twitch, so we kind of stopped multi-streaming for now. We may look into that in the future once we get to the point where we do have some better video equipment, where we can actually, see our pretty faces. We can actually switch between different angles. Maybe we can find somebody that's willing to maybe intern with us or volunteer that can like kind of do the video DJing and like help us with visual effects and stuff like that. What else? Oh, if you haven't already, make sure to like this live stream and definitely share it if you have a second, if you haven't already, just because it does help out the channel a lot. Due to the algorithms not really trying to perpetuate new creators. So the only real way we're really going to get the name out there is just if everybody takes some time and share. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and read that bell so that you know when we go live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. And we hope that you'll continue to see us. Hopefully we can earn your subscription today. Things are going really well. Let's see, we're about 6 or 7 months into this podcasting thing once a week. The last few months we've been more consistent as making sure that we actually have content to release. We are doing our best to have the majority of them being live. And obviously if we are out on vacation, somebody's sick, we don't have anybody to really do anything with because nobody's here to do it at the studio. Excuse me. We try to make sure to have a pre-recorded video to go up at the same time that we'd normally do live. So like the one that came out over the first part of September where Rianne and I, we actually were gone visiting family way up north in the beautiful mountains of Yellowstone, which is in Montana and Wyoming. Really beautiful up there. And actually got some great resets in there to kind of get our brains out away from the technology as much as we could and just spend some time and relax. I actually really miss that place now that I talk about it. What else? Well, one of the things that was really interesting is that I wasn't really sure how this was going to go, because it just kind of went, all right, let's just throw this together. Let's just start doing this live and uploading our videos, and let's just see what happens. Let's just have some fun with it. And we literally went from like 0 views when we first started. Next few months we're getting like 10 or 15 views, and it like kind of creeped up. And now we're at the point now we're averaging between 90 and like 120 views every 28 days, which is awesome. Really hope that continues to grow. I would really love to see where this can go. And ideally we could do this full time. Initially, when I first started before this was actually a podcast, I initially was going to actually start like these very short videos. They were going to be between like 4 and 6 minutes long, and just doing like a couple of things, where I share news and do some shit posting and a lot of trolling and, just, looking at the hilarity of the state of the world and politics and news. And as I was thinking about it and I was starting to create the videos, kind of find my vibe, kind of find, upset tummy, I apologize. It basically got to the point where it just didn't feel like me. Like, it got to the point where the character was just like too over the top. It felt too fake. It didn't feel very comfortable when I was doing it. And so I kind of canned that idea very quickly. And honestly, like all of my channels and social media and everything just kind of chilled. Like I basically privatized all the videos, and I got some of the videos got like upwards of like 100, 200 views or whatever, but it just didn't feel like me. And so I just kind of made everything private and just kind of sat on it for a while until months later, maybe a year or so later, I came up with the idea where, why don't I just do this podcast thing? I think this would be kind of cool. I was starting to get into podcasts and listening to podcasts and seeing how cool this podcast thing is. And it just seemed like the natural way to go, It just seemed like that was the direction I needed to go next. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, how do I want to do this? Is this something I'm going to be doing by myself, almost like a Glenn Beck thing, where he just kind of sits there, says some things for a little bit, takes a break, and says some more things or whatever. I just really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And so I guess I got inspired by Joe Rogan's podcast, his earlier stuff, because that's kind of what I was listening to at the time. I decided I was going to listen to all of his podcasts, like from way back in the day when he started in the when did he start? Like the late 2000s, something like that. And just talk about whatever, whether it was something interesting in an article I read online, or something interesting that happened in the political realm, or something that happened in, maybe there's some societal issues going on that I wanted to like comment on and talk about. I just really, it started out kind of like I wanted to gear towards like multimedia stuff, focusing more on like television, streaming, film, like, movies and stuff like that. And it just like really naturally was just like, no, we can't pigeonhole ourselves into one thing. We got to be able to actually do whatever it is that we want to do. So if one day we want to talk about relationships, we talk about relationships. If one day we want to talk about all the cool stuff about Star Wars, we talk about Star Wars stuff. So it just naturally became a thing where, I wanted to get together with my wife. This is how it started out anyways. And we would just talk about whatever we wanted. That was interesting. And that was kind of tickling our fancy that week. And then I came up with the idea of like, okay, why don't we expand this a little bit? Because she was kind of getting busy with stuff. And, I wanted to make sure to have a couple of other people I can kind of bring in and out. And so that's when I had my little brother come on. And we did a podcast together. We talked more focused on politics. And now I added my good friend Alakai to the podcast. And so now he is more of a frequent co-host along with my wife. And so it's just kind of expanded into this thing where we could just have really deep, in-depth conversations that are meaningful. And sometimes we have different viewpoints, and sometimes we have viewpoints that aren't correct. And sometimes we have to go, what I did there was not correct. This is actually what's happening now. And, obviously if you hear something that you don't feel is correct or whatever, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear feedback on how we're doing with our podcasts and such. Gotta take deep breaths because I'm not nervous at all. So there's a lot of interesting things coming out in October for Netflix, and so I kind of wanted to breeze through some of the cool stuff that's coming out on Netflix. And a lot of the things that I talk about is usually because, they're above average, like series or movies. Like I'm not going to just like go through a list and be like, okay, and this one and that one. And I'm not going to tell you that you should watch it or not, unless I really like it and I can actually recommend it and say, yes, this is definitely something you want to watch. And part of that is because I have a great affinity for filmography and all of its aspects, especially when it comes to, television and movies. So when I watch these, I actually, not only watch like the story unfold and the characters and stuff like that, but I also look at the aspects of, okay, how well is this actor portraying this character? Is this something I can believe? Is it something that I can connect to? Is the thematics, is the CGI good? Is the storytelling good? Is the pacing good? Is the dialogue good? And so I kind of come up with this, 1 to 100 rating on if I really like it or not. Most films, if they're decent enough to go out and like watch in the movie theater, I'll usually give it like an average rating between like 70 and 80. It's like, that's like the sweet spot. That's like, yeah, you can go ahead and watch this. It's not going to be like breathtaking or going to give you some huge insight or really boggle your mind or anything like that. But hey, it's a good popcorn film. You're going to go there. You're going to enjoy it. You're not going to want to walk out there and be like, wow, I really wish I got my 2 hours back of my life there. And so that's kind of how I do when I go and I watch something. And depending on the day, I'll just want to binge it and I'll just want to just kind of dive into it. Sometimes it's just playing in the background while I'm playing my Switch, or working on my book, which, by the way, that's coming along really, really well. I am over the halfway mark. Yay. So I'm working hard on that. So let's dive in here to some Netflix stuff that's coming out in October 2021, which is right around the corner. Not too far off, eh? Was that like a week away? Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be a week exactly. So in a week, a lot of this stuff is going to come to the streamings of the Netflix. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other stuff coming on other streaming platforms, but this is just the one that I know has like a very large catalog. So you're going to find something that you're going to want to watch. Okay, so the first couple here, A Knight's Tale. Who's in that? Is that, I believe that's Heath Ledger, if I remember correctly. Knight's Tale. Of course, I got IMDb like stat here. Knight's Tale, 2001. Written and directed by Brian Helgeland. Heath Ledger, Mark Addy, Rufus Swell. Has also one of my favorite redheads, Alan Tudyk. You may know him from the Serenity series, the Firefly series, or the movie Serenity. He's also played one of the robots in Star Wars. He's been honestly in a lot of stuff, and every time I see him, Like he can be funny, he can be serious. He just seems like he has the ability. Oh, that's right. He was also Sonny in iRobot in 2004. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's in Rogue One, which honestly is probably the only Star Wars out of the original canon that I kind of consider a Star Wars movie, because it actually feels like a Star Wars movie, even though there's some instances and scenes I'm just like, that's not really Star Wars, but I let it slide because the majority of it, screams Star Wars. So Knight's Tale, definitely a great movie. It is a romance movie, drama, but it's really good. That's definitely above average. That would probably be between the 80, maybe 90 out of 100 range. Definitely check that one out. Coming out. Looks like October the 1st. You can start streaming that. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get some water here. An Inconvenient Truth. I don't think I've seen that one, so I'm not going to comment on it, but I believe that is a documentary. As good as it gets. Have I seen that one before? Let me double check. Let me go ahead and ask Jimmy, my co-host here. 97. Jack Nicholas, I believe? Yeah. Jack Nicholas, Helen Hunt, and Greg Kinnear. Yeah. Oh, this was actually, this is a really, really good movie. Looks like IMDb gave it a 7.7 out of 10. That's pretty good. It's definitely above, just above the average. If you don't mind watching, 90s films in the grainy abyss that it is. Let's see. Bad Teacher, I believe. Cameron Diaz, Jason Segel, and Justin Timberlake. I believe I remember seeing this film, and it wasn't that great. Now, I do love Cameron Diaz, but this movie just did not do well for me. And it looks like by the rating, 5.6 out of 10 IMDb, it didn't look very good for those people either. So yeah, I probably would have given it a 60 or 65 out of 100 for sure. Just wasn't a great movie. It was, it was okay. Wasn't the best. Let's see. Desperado. How about some of that Antonio Banderas, right? He was also in Zorro. He's also in a lot of other movies. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. 7.2 out of 10. I definitely agree with that. It has some really great actors in it too. Salma Hayek, Jacqueline de Almeida, the bug-eyed guy. I don't think that's the bug-eyed guy. No, that's the older dude. The bug-eyed guy. He's been in a lot of movies. I can't remember his name. Steve Buscemi. That's right, Steve Buscemi. Goodness gracious, I should know that. Because he's a character in like every movie he's ever been in. So Desperado, definitely 75, 80 out of 100. Definitely go see that. That's amazing. Eagle Eye. I believe this is the one with Shia LaBeouf or Bo. The F is silent. Shia LaBeouf. Michelle Monaghan, I believe she was in. Oh, what movie was she in? The Ring or something like that. Anyways, Eagle Eye was definitely an interesting film. I definitely would give that at least an average rating. So I definitely would agree to go and check that out for sure. What else was she in? I could have sworn she was in some kind of... The Craft Legacy. I did not see that one. Or maybe I'm thinking a different actress. I'm probably thinking of a different actress because I'm not seeing the film that I think that she's in, which means I'm not remembering that correctly. That's usually what that means. So we'll move on. Ghost. There's a... Was that in the 90s? It's a 90s classic. I've had time of my life, and I've never felt this way before. So yeah, Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg. You know, he, without getting into too much detail, he does die and become a spirit, and he kind of haunts his girlfriend. And a lot of interesting things ensued. When did this come out? 1990. Yeah, I knew it was the 90s. This is a good movie, though. Yeah, this is actually a very good movie. I remember it. So I definitely would say, definitely see that one. Gladiator. Gladiator 2000 with Mr. Russell Crowe. Also a very good movie. 8.5 out of 10. Yep, that's about where I would put it. I'd probably put it, 8.5, 90 out of 100. Yeah. Ridley Scott, the director, has Joaquin Phoenix in it. He's the bad guy. It's awesome. Yep, I definitely would recommend seeing that over the weekend. It's coming out on the 1st. So all these are actually coming out sometime in October. So if I miss the date, you just know sometime in October it'll be available. So the Insidious series is okay. I really enjoyed the first film. I just didn't feel like the films that came after it were like that great. In my eyes. I really enjoyed the first one. See, that second one I got 6.6 out of 10. Insidious. I think the first one's probably going to get the best rating. Yeah, 6.8. Yeah, the first one I probably would put it at a 7.75 personally, just because it was really well done. It was really interesting. It's got your boy Patrick Wilson in it. He also starred in The Watchmen and a lot of other stuff, I believe, because he became this huge person. Oh, he's in Phantom of the Opera? No way. I'm probably going to have to watch that. Good stuff. Yeah, The Nun. That's right, he was in Aquaman. Oh, he did some voice acting in some animated stuff. Excuse me, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Oh, excuse me, Prometheus. Yeah, so he's been in quite a few big productions, so he's the man. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Jet Li's Fearless was okay. No, it wasn't okay. I would probably say it was below average, but if you do like Jet Li and kung fu movies, you'll enjoy it. Wow, a lot of these I haven't seen. Once Upon a Time Mexico. That one's a really good one. Yeah. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. But yeah, that one's, it's good. Especially if you like Quentin Tarantino, you'll definitely like it. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Which one? Are we doing the Kevin Costner one, or? Yeah, it's the Kevin Costner one. Directed by Kevin Reynolds. Yeah, has Morgan Freeman in it. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. That was a good one. 91. These are some great 90s movies for y'all. Let's see. You can skip all the Spy Kids. I mean, unless you have kids. I mean, small kids will like them. Step Brothers. Baller. 2008 film. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. Yeah. It's a pretty funny movie. Especially if you like Will Ferrell. You'll like anything with Will Ferrell if you like Will Ferrell, so. The Duff. I sadly have actually seen this movie. It's the Designated Ugly Friend. Has Mae Whitman in it. I really like Mae Whitman. She was she's really good in Good Girls. And she was in something else. Where did I first see Mae Whitman? Was it a TV series? No? She was in Invincible. Oh yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah, or versus the World Water Crisis. What? No, that's not what I saw her in. Well, I don't remember. I could have sworn I saw her in a TV series or something like that when I first. Oh yeah, Gilmore Girls. Yeah, she was Marcy. Sadly, I have seen Gilmore Girls. I got into it for a minute. But anyways, yeah, that one could be a fun one to watch. I mean, it's whatever. Karate Kid is coming back. The Holiday. Mr. Jack Black. And it's not Judd, is it? Yeah, Jude, excuse me. Jude Law, Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz. Yeah, that one's actually a pretty cute one. So if you need a good holiday film in the future, that one's also a really good one. Waterworld, okay. Titanic, okay. Ooh, Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy, yes. That one's going to be a good one. All right, now there's a big, huge list of TV series. So, okay, so the ones I am looking forward to in the next little bit is I'm looking for the next installment of Another Life, which I think, I mean, aside with the nature of filmmaking nowadays where you have to have all your tokenism and make sure you check mark all of your make sure your inclusivity box is checked. I mean, unfortunately, I did get a 5 out of 10 from IMDb, and rightfully so, just because of those contexts and overtones. I mean, I get it, but it didn't really help the story, and it actually kind of hurted it quite a bit. But anyway, I'm actually looking forward to the second part. Hopefully they fix a lot of the hiccups that really didn't help the storyline, but the way that they put it together made it very, very interesting. So I'd at least say check it out. Didn't get a great rating. It's going to be below average for me as well, but the thematics and it being sci-fi and stuff, it's definitely interesting enough to just check out. So I'm looking forward to the second installment just to see where it's at. But I may stop watching it if they don't fix a lot of things that they needed to fix from season 1. Lock and Key season 2 is coming out the 22nd. I'm really excited for that. It's kind of like a darker children's film. It's about a family who find these magical keys and they do all these really cool magical things. So it's kind of like fantasy in that sort of way. Yeah, it's really interesting. I would definitely recommend checking that out for sure. Lock and Key. Okay, going down the line. I'm just going to try to breeze through this because I know I spent a lot of time on the movies. Oh, Seinfeld. Seinfeld, seasons 1 through 9. I may actually watch that because I haven't. Shameless season 11. All right, I'm curious what they gave for Shameless because I had to stop watching it. It was too much of a train wreck, and it was just, the story was just really difficult for me to watch. They got an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, I definitely would agree with most of that. I'd probably put it at a 7, like 7.5, maybe an 8, somewhere between there. But yeah, it's like a train wreck that you have to keep watching. And it just like wrecks over and over and over again. It's crazy. Blacklist. I'm actually pretty excited for that. Mr. James Spader. His character in there is phenomenal. Like, they could not have like built a series for like the right person. Like, yeah, it's phenomenal. I think it's more than an 8.0. I think that one's closer to 8.5, maybe a 9, because it's just like there wasn't really anything bad you could say about it to say this is crap. Like, it's just really good all around. It's great. Oh, and You season 3. Oh. You, it was difficult for me to watch. It really was. It's a psychological thriller, basically following a psychopath. Yeah, season 3 coming out. That's gonna be crazy. And when are we getting Stranger Things? Hopefully they fix what they did wrong in season 3 and make an amazing season 4. But yeah, those are some movies and series I'm looking forward to just from Netflix. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm going to kind of gloss over this just because it's obviously being ran into the ground and everybody's covering it like nonstop. It's the disappearance of Gabby Petito case. And this is something I got from ABC News. I was just kind of breezing through it just to kind of get an idea. It's taking everybody by force. Like, everybody's trying to figure it out, and they're adding the timelines, and it's just like let the let the police do their jobs, and then let us know what they come up with, when they're ready to release this stuff. It's just like, and I kind of feel like it's smoke screening a lot of the stuff that's happening in the Biden camp. I'm not going to get too into it because I kind of don't want to go over politics right now because I'm very emotionally charged by the politics stuff that's happening and how these issues are affecting America and immigrants. And it's just, I can't get into it because it's just too raw right now. Maybe another topic in the future. Maybe we'll have it with Mr. Dalton, my little brother. But I really do hope that they figure out what happened with Gabby. I mean, definitely sending lots of thoughts and prayers, for their family during this trying time. I could not imagine having a loved one, disappear, and especially somebody that's so young and obviously, was very active, it looks like, on social media and YouTube and stuff. Man, I just really hope that they figure it out and figure it out soon. Okay, so now that we are getting closer to the end of our time, because we're doing these short ones for right now, as we're still building up our catalog of, or I guess it's going to be our catalog. Anyway, we are filling up our these pre-recorded uploads so that, when we do have the opportunity to see family, go on vacation, whatever we got to do, we get sick. Hopefully we are able to do mostly live every single month for you guys. I just want to make sure that we have something for you guys if we're not able to actually do these. So That's kind of why I'm doing it by myself today, because I wanted to make sure that you guys still get a live episode. If I'm available, I think I'm going to do it. I was a little nervous, but now that I've gotten into it, I think I'll be fine. So the topic I really wanted to talk about today was artificial intelligence, also known as AI. But what's really interesting about this particular article that I found a couple of weeks back is that they're attempting to use artificial intelligence and algorithms to try to catch individuals that have, onset dementia, or catch it in the early phases of dementia. And it's like they're starting to find out how they can actually implement technology into helping with specifically with dementia. So I thought it was really interesting, and so I'm going to share this link with you guys. It's going to be at in the description of this video after it goes up, so that should be on there when you guys all watch the video. It'll be in there. So Professor Karutsi from Cambridge's Department of Psychology said, "We have trained machine learning algorithms to spot very early signs of dementia just by looking for patterns of gray matter loss, essentially wearing away in the brain. When we combine this with standard memory tests, we can predict whether an individual will show slower or faster decline in their cognition." Wow. That just kind of blew my mind right there. We've been able to identify some patients who are not yet showing any symptoms but went on to develop Alzheimer's. Wow. Talk about making the technology work for you. So in time, we hope to be able to identify patients as early as 5 to 10 years before they show symptoms as part of a health check. Wow. Okay, so I just need to kind of sit here and think about this for a minute. Because usually when we think of AI or, algorithms and artificial intelligence and stuff like that, we usually identify that with these large tech companies, like Google and Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace, for those of you that were actually around that time. Actually, I don't think they had algorithms back then too much. It really gives me a sense of excitement and like a good outlook for the future when these things kind of pop up and people start sharing these kinds of things, because I feel like, okay, great, now we're using technology for things that will actually help people. Because creating algorithms and AI to keep people glued to their smartphones, to keep people opening up their app and to be longer in the app, and to basically sell people's screen time to advertise to them specifically. Like, seeing stuff with technology that's going to actually help people definitely gives me a sense of peace, and that this world isn't as long for its destruction as I think it is. And that really excites me. I think that artificial intelligence is going to eventually be a pivotal part in human advancement. I really do think that It's going to get bolder. It's going to get better. It's going to get faster. It's going to get smarter. But at the end of the day, especially when you want to talk AI to robots, at the end of the day, the artificial intelligence is only going to do what it's designed to do. So like let's say this is going to be very silly, but let's say I invent a toaster, and that toaster's artificial intelligence is designed to basically burn the toast to match my mood each day. That's all it's going to do. Like, the artificial intelligence isn't going to go, oh, so you no longer want toast. You want me to actually burn your face off. So I'm going to actually try to figure out how I can create an apparatus where I can actually burn your face off. No, it's actually just going to do what it was designed to do, with the parameters that we give it. Now, obviously, on the other side, you could make a death machine with artificial intelligence where it learns how to kill people its most efficient way, and it'll continue to figure that out, and it'll continue to do that because that's what it's designed to do. So those of you have the tinfoil hats that want to say that we're going to have like a Terminator kind of thing where where Skynet's going to take over and build machines that's going to destroy the human race. It's very unlikely because of the fact that the creators will keep those parameters in place to have it do what it's designed to do. And that's all I have to really say about that. But there's, this could actually work into other things. Like what about cancer? Maybe we can develop artificial intelligence to figure out how they can find cancer in people before they even develop it to the point where they're very sick. Maybe they can catch it a lot faster. Or any kind of, ailment for that matter. Maybe there, within our restrooms, it also has an artificial intelligence so that when we use the restroom, it actually, takes samples and analyzes it and lets you know, before you get sick. Or maybe you're starting to get sick, but you don't have the symptoms, but like changes, in your urine and stuff like that would allow it to figure out, hey, you're about to get sick. You're about to come down with a flu. So here's a regimen you can take to alleviate the up and coming symptoms that you're going to experience. That would be very interesting. Actually, I actually kind of like this website. I'm going to have to save it and, excuse me, because it's got different, it's called SciTech Daily. I'm going to add this to my bookmark because I'm going to check it again because it has different sections like biology, chemistry, earth, health, physics, science, space, technology, etc. So it's just basically it gives you news that has to deal with technology. And this one happened to be technology and health, which is really cool. I really like it. Okay. So we have a few more minutes before I end the podcast today. So there was a couple of things I did want to talk about. Yeah, I'll just talk about this right now. I want to talk about The Matrix 4. I believe it's Resurrected. Matrix Resurrected. When is it supposed to come out? Oh, Resurrections. Excuse me. So it looks like we still got Keanu, Carrie Ann. I'm guessing we did not get... We're not going to have Morpheus back. Let's see. Let's see if we'll at least have Morpheus come in here. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Oh, that's sad. I would have loved to see him. Because, like, his character is just... Oh, wait. Did he die? He died. That's right. But they could have brought him back. Like a glitch, and it comes back. And anyway. That's right. I forgot he died. So, a couple of tidbits about The Matrix. The first Matrix, which came out towards the end of 1999, I believe, was a spectacular film. It was like such a great blend of like sci-fi fighting and anime like fighting style, and bring it into, you know, life in a life like film. I'm not even like saying that right. I really think that they did a great job blending that into a live action film. That's what I want to say. They really were able to blend like real world like fighting techniques in with kind of this over the top. It's now called the Matrix style, but they definitely have that anime manga feel with their fight sequences, and that's one thing I really enjoyed about it. However, in the first film, there was a lot more hand-to-hand combat, which I really enjoyed. Like very over-the-top, like hand-to-hand combat. And then just like a few really interesting stylized shots. And I really enjoyed that. I definitely would put this movie in the 90 out of 100 for sure. Now, there's the subsequent sequels that came after these. Reloaded and Revolutions. And they just progressively, sadly, got worse. Now, did it have some interesting stuff in them? Sure. Did they have some spectacular fight scenes? Sure. But here's the issue, and nowadays I call it the Pirates of the Caribbean syndrome, where basically they have their first film, which does spectacular. And if I remember correctly, when the first film came out with The Matrix original in 1999, they actually had bad reviews. And there was all this whole controversy about, you know, how they were on borderline from like R to NC-17 because they were like, you know, over the top, you know, like getting hit in the face and kicked in the face. And they were just like, oh, well, if they have less kicks in the face, then we can drop this down to R. And there was all this like controversy around it, if I remember correctly. And the reviews did not come out very well when they first brought it out. And if I remember correctly, the first screenings didn't even go that great. But after it had been released, like the first week wasn't great, but the second week was great, and then the third week was awesome. And like by the time it was in its fourth week, I think it was like still like it ended up being like the top movie like for that month. And then the DVD sales were just astronomical, if I remember correctly. Now, I probably need to read up on the past history of this just so I can make sure. But I mean, I love this movie so much. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, or that's maybe I'm just misremembering. But yeah, the second movies that came out of it, I didn't think they were that great, and it looks like the ratings on here tells us that they weren't that great either. Just because it's like people try so hard with trilogies and sequels and stuff like that to kind of not only match the previous film, but to go way over the top. And I feel like maybe there's more people involved that shouldn't have been, you know, outside of the writers and the directors. Like, I feel like maybe there was too many hands, like in the honey pot, so to say, where there's too many people messing with the lines, messing with the fight sequences, the storyline, to the point where it didn't make as much sense. But it was big and over the top, and it was exciting, but the story just kind of falls apart. It's not that great. Now, for standalone popcorn films, the trilogy's okay. But I would definitely say that the subsequent sequels that came out after the first Matrix were not that great. And definitely for me are below average from the first. And that's all I have to say about that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Periodic Review. We just want to thank you all so much for supporting us. I mean, consistently getting over 100 views every month is more than I thought we would ever do. And we're just growing little by little, you know. And I really do see a great outlook and a great future for this podcast. And it's all because of viewers like you. And so I just want to personally say thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We have a lot of great stuff coming up in the future. We should have more people coming next time. But obviously, if it happens again, I think I'm willing to do this solo, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. But if I'm wrong, I'd love to hear your comments down below. And as always, our goal here is to be better humans today than we were yesterday. And from our family to yours, good night.